Executive Director at NIMIC, and proud HSC board member. Give it up for HSC. I want to start by giving out a few shout-outs because guess what? This didn't happen by one person doing this. This is a collective, and we are here today as a collective to flex our power and let the city and the state know that we need just pay. Just pay. That's what we need. So here's some shout-outs. DC 37, you in the house? 1199, you in the house? Freedom Agenda, let me hear you. Power, come on Power. Rock United, strong economy for all. And our coalition partners, Nonprofit New York, Supportive Housing Network, HSU, Live On, United Neighborhood Houses. What do we want, people? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? I have a few more shout-outs. And these are the organizations that made it happen today and made sure that we had a lot of people out here. Because guess what? This is the first and biggest action we've had in the last 2 years. And we are here today to let the city know that we want just pay, that we deserve just pay, that the human services sector is essential. And guess what? Before COVID, we were essential. During COVID, we are essential. It has been our workforce that has been out there running food pantries so New Yorkers can have something to eat. It has been our workforce that has been providing child care so essential workers and first responders could go to work. It is our workforce that has been providing shelter services to the homeless and victims of domestic violence. It is our workforce that has delivered meals to seniors and called them to make sure that they were not isolated and hungry. Guess what? It is this sector that will be part of the recovery and essential to the recovery of New York City and New York State. And we deserve just pay. And now, for some more shout-outs. Chinese American Planning Council, CPC. Child Care Center of New York, where are you? Bronx Works. BCS. HASA. NIMIC. That's right. I am with NIMIC too, and I count for 50 people. Queens Community House. Project Renewal. Sheltering Arms. Supportive Housing Network. University Settlement. Volunteers of America. And VIP. SEO is here too. Shout it out. Let me know who's here. Let me know who's here. Let Mayor Adams know who's here. He needs to hear us. Greenwich House is here. Come on, let's go, let's go. Make some noise. But here's another list of organizations that committed to having a big turnout here. Campbell, where are you? Children's Village, Harlem Dowling. Children's Aid Society. East Side House. Encore Community Services. Graham Wyndham. Grand Street Settlement, Greenwich House, Help USA, Henry Street, Lutheran Social Services, New York Foundling, Phipps, Resettlement, Rising Ground, Safe Horizon, Samaritan Village, SCO, SUS. So now we're going to start having some of our speakers come up. But I do want to remind you about what our asks are today. We are asking for a cost of living adjustment to be included in all city contracts for human services workers. We need a COLA every year. The second thing that we're asking for, we need to set a living wage floor of at least $21 an hour for human services workers at the city and state level. Guess what? Everything has gone up except our salaries. So we need that $21 an hour as the minimum. And third, we want them to create a fund with a comprehensive wage and benefit schedule for government human services workers that is comparable to our peers at the city and state. Those are our asks. That's what we want. And that's what we want Mayor Adams and the City Council to hear. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Just pay is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Just pay is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. Just pay is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. All right, and now we're going to have our first speaker come up. Chan Henry, Case Manager with Urban Pathways.
My name's Chan Henry, and I've been a case manager at Urban Pathways since July of last year. Urban Pathways provides homeless services and supportive housing, and our programs have never closed throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Besides dealing with COVID itself, there are many challenges of working in the current environment that has made an already difficult job exponentially more challenging. The pandemic has added to the barriers confronted by my clients experiencing homelessness. They face restrictions making appointments, having to wait months at a time to be seen, and challenges getting paperwork updated that is needed to apply for housing. This has resulted in my colleagues and I doing double the work to ensure our clients get what they need to gain housing. Recently, with the implementation of the Mayor's Subway Safety Plan, we are seeing an influx of clients with very high needs enter the drop-in center seeking services. Again, increasing the challenges of our work without any additional resources. While we're working harder every day to assist our clients, the pandemic has wreaked havoc on our personal finances, and inflation is getting progressively worse. Every month, I am faced with difficult choices on how to spend my paycheck. Do I pay my ever-increasing electrical bill, or do I buy groceries that are also increasing in price? I was recently told that my rent will be increased by $1,000 a month, forcing me out of my neighborhood. My colleagues and I provide essential services to our communities, yet we can no longer reside in them ourselves. This leaves me with constant stress and worry when I go home. After leaving a job that is already stressful, where I worry about my clients' well-being. Many of my colleagues also have children, parents, and grandparents that rely on them financially. How are they supposed to support them on their poverty-level wages? The irony of assisting people experiencing homelessness and financial instability when I am on the brink of the same instabilities is extremely frustrating. I'm always encouraging my clients to save and learn how to budget their income. How do I teach them financial management when I am unable to take my own advice? I'm in the same boat and facing the same money challenges they are. I love the work that I do, and I'm sure we all do, and I've always had a passion for helping others. There is nothing more rewarding than helping those who have gotten off track get back to the life that they want to lead. I know this work is as important as ever, and that drives me to keep going. But with the stagnant low wages and the increased cost of living, even those who love this job will not be able to continue to do it. I'm educated, I have a bachelor's degree, and I also have student loans to pay. Yet, I make about $20,000 less per year than subject sector workers. Why are government employees more highly valued than those doing the same work on city contracts? Our work promotes equity, and yet the current system is perpetuating inequities in the workforce, the majority of whom are women, specifically women of color. This is just not an issue of fairness. It is an issue of gender inequity and racial inequity. My economic insecurity is the direct result of government budget decisions. The government is the main driver of my wages, and it is not possible for urban pathways to fill in the gap with the low contract rates they receive. We deserve better. We need better pay, comparable wage and benefit schedule to our government counterparts, and an annual cost of living adjustment we can depend on. We are considered essential workers, yet our basic needs have gone ignored over and over and over again. It's frustrating to be standing here asking for a cost of living adjustment when I was just here in November, right on the steps of City Hall. It has been left out the past 2 budget cycles, and receiving more money would help me find balance with my increases in my budget, and a consistent guaranteed annual COLA is necessary for me and for all of us to plan ahead for our financial futures. I hope the City Council and the Mayor will stand with us and begin the process of getting human service workers just pay by including a 5.4% COLA in the 2023 fiscal city budget. Thank you.
All right. I want to make sure that we acknowledge some additional folks. Thank you, Chen Henry. You are representative of what we are seeing in the sector. I want to recognize Henry Garrido, Executive Director for DC 37, who is with us today and an ally to us as we fight for just pay. Little Flower, where are you? You all right? Where are you? Hamilton Madison, where are you? Senator for Community Alternatives, where are you? Center. All right, next we're gonna have Joanna Ortiz, Pediatric Community Health Worker with Public Health Solutions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Johanna Ortiz. It's falling. All right, I'll hold it. Better? I'm a pediatric community health worker at Public Health Solutions in Queens. I have been helping families achieve their maximum potential with support, education, medical insurance, food stamps, coordination of care, among other community resources. My work is best done in person because it's a fantastic way to get trust with the family. However, COVID-19 has changed how things have been done. An example of this is CPSC evaluations. Normally they're conducted in person, but due to COVID-19, it has become virtual, with less organizations available to evaluate children. I work with a family who preferred an in-person evaluation because her child was camera shy and she needed a Portuguese interpreter. It took her a year until she was referred to me and I was able to help her. We found an organization willing to do an in-person evaluation, and the CPSE evaluation was conducted within 2 months of her starting to work with me. In addition, for almost 2 years, Public Health Solutions, in collaboration with New York Presbyterian Hospital, distributed 100 boxes of food to families with food insecurities during COVID-19. It has happened every other Tuesday for the past 2 years. Lastly, COVID-19 has shortened the discharge times for postpartum women, limiting engagement with lactation specialists, hindering chances of breastfeeding their newborns. PHS has started the New York City Breastfeeding Warm Line to cover the need of guidance and education for women who breastfeed. With this initiative, certified lactation counselors and IBCLCs have helped over 250 women all over New York City, New Jersey, and Nassau County. My colleagues and I provide social services that help overcome social determinants of health, which families in our community face daily. Furthermore, providing the human services are not only the ones delivered by clinical providers. However, our wages do not compensate us enough for our demanding daily work. So once again, let me introduce myself. My name is Johanna Ortiz. I am a foreign medical graduate who holds a master's in public health. I am a single parent of 2 beautiful daughters who finds herself sharing an apartment with her father because I cannot rely solely on my wages to provide for their necessities. I find it ironic that a human service worker could benefit from some of the aid that I help families obtain. Nonetheless, by city and state standards, I do not qualify. Despite having a full-time job, I am still in the lower income tier of New York, having difficulty affording many things such as summer camp or even a babysitter who charges an hourly wage of what I currently make for 1 child. Remember, I have 2 children. Unfortunately, this is a story of many human service workers who, like me, remain in the field because we love the work we do. There's no better satisfaction than the gratitude the family gives us when we help them every day. However, my colleagues and our families cannot survive off gratitude. Therefore, a wage to live in the city would be equally satisfying. So what are we saying here today? Just pay.
I want to take this opportunity to also acknowledge some supporters that are here with us today. Councilmember Eric Botcher, thank you for joining us. Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, thank you for joining us. I got one more chant before I bring on the next speaker. 1, 2, 3, 4, we won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8, all we want is just pay. 1, 2, 3, 4, we won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8, all we want is just pay. What do we want? Just pay. What do we want? Just pay. When do we want it? When do we want it? All right, up next, we have a former human services sector worker. We have a former settlement house worker who is now a council member from the Bronx. Is the Bronx in the house? Here we have council member Althea Stevens.
Go, girl. Peace family. This is what I'm talking about. Peace family. Look how y'all showed up here today. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. I was in the human service sector for over 20 years. We lead with love. We lead with compassion. We do what needs to be done without being paid for it. There is nobody who's in this line of work because we want to get rich, because none of us are. It is unacceptable that people who are in our sector are also on food stamps. Why has that become the norm? It is unacceptable that there's people who was giving out food during the pandemic but also had to take food for themselves, for their family. But this city council is going to show you what it looks like when you elect people who represent you. This city council has the majority women. And you all know that when women are in charge, we lead with love and we lead with compassion. We do the work of the people. So I am excited. No, I'm energized because all you guys showed up. You showed up today and you're going to keep showing up because we are going to make sure that you get paid. We got to make sure that the agencies get paid because what? No procurement, no peace. We can't talk about how we have contracts that still haven't been paid from last summer when we're talking about you guys as well. So how's this working? The city has to show up. And you guys today sent a message. And I always knew this was here because I've been in this fight with you for 20 years. I stood on those steps for 20 years fighting for services for our kids, fighting for our communities. And now I'm going to go inside City Hall and fight even harder. So let's get to work.
All right, next, we're going to have our New York City Comptroller, Brad Lander, who is an ally to the sector and who's going to make sure that just pay happens. Oh, wait. This is the best problem we could have had today. We need to have folks that are behind the stage move over because you're blocking traffic. That's right, we showed up today. Mayor Adams, we showed up today and we are blocking traffic. So let's go. Move over, folks. We need you on this side. Because guess what? We showed up today.
What do you want? When do you want it? What do you want? When do you want it? I want to get a little sense of who's out here this morning. So who's out here that provides essential services to young people? Let me hear it from folks that are doing childcare, folks that are running after-school programs. Who's out here that provides mental health services to New Yorkers? Because boy, do we need those mental health services right now. Who is out here that helps take care of our seniors, either brings them food or stays in touch with them or provides the programs that help people connect? Who's out here that combats domestic violence and keeps New Yorkers safe? We have any of our Cure Violence or Violence Interrupter groups, folks doing community safety programs out here. All right. You guys are the essential workers of this city. You are the folks who are making sure we got through this pandemic, and now that we bring our neighborhoods back in ways that are welcoming, in ways that are open for all. When we say we saw the inequalities that existed before the pandemic, and that meant that during this pandemic, folks who were Latino or African American were more likely to have to be on the front lines of COVID. And when we said we are going to do better on the other side of the pandemic at building a more equal and inclusive and resilient city, it is our human service workers who are out there every day doing that work. And it is appalling that we would ask you to do it without a cost of living adjustment, without the adequate pay that you need. I love that we focus on paying our city workers, making sure that they get the raises that they need and deserve. But we cannot say one set of our essential workers are going to get the raises and pay they need, and not this whole other set of workers. Is that right? I want to say thank you to labor for being out here and recognizing that this is solidarity. This is side by side. It's not our union workers versus our human service workers. It's all the essential workers of this city who do the work to make sure that our young people and our seniors and our families and folks who are struggling with mental illness, or folks who are trying to escape domestic violence, or kids who are looking to have a brilliant career and need some extra support after school, or folks who are looking for a summer youth job. That is the work that you guys are all doing. It is the future of this city. You are the future of this city, and we are going to make sure that you have the just pay and dignity that you need to do it. Thank you so much for being out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Comptroller Brad Landers, former council member who will now make sure that just pay gets into the budget. And next, I want to bring up another fierce advocate and fighter for the sector, Diana Ayala, Deputy Speaker and Chair of General Welfare, representing Manhattan and the Bronx.
What was that? Hey, how are you? How are you guys? Making noise out here, being troublemakers, bringing good trouble to City Hall. I was sitting inside minding my own business at a hearing, and I hear all of this screaming and yelling, so I've told Maria that the next time I have a rally, you all gotta come with me, because I have never, in the time that I have been in the city council, seen this level of show out for a cause as important as this. And I just wanted to share with you really quickly my own story, because this is why it's important that representation matters. It is important that people that look like you and like me be represented in that body. When I went to college, I was the first person in my family to go to college, and I wanted to be a nurse, but I realized that I was afraid of blood, so that wasn't gonna happen. And so, hold on. And so my professor said to me, well, what do you like to do, Diana? And I said, well, I'm really good with people, and I love to fix problems. I'm a problem, fixer, and that's what I would like to do. And so I majored in human services, and straight out of college, my first job, which I loved, was with older adults, and they paid me $16,000 a year. $16,000 a year. I was a single mom with 2 children. I had rent to pay, I had food to buy, and it was oftentimes very difficult for me. I had to rely on Section 8 to be able to help ensure that I could keep a roof over my head. And that is really just unacceptable, because what you do is God's work. You're out there taking care of the most vulnerable New Yorkers day in and day out. During the pandemic, you were all out there every single day making sure that people were fed, that they were housed, that they were okay. And that needs to be compensated. And we're here. I just wanted to come out today really quickly. I'm freezing because I forgot my coat, to let you all know that you have my full support and the support of my colleagues who are all here represented today, and that we're gonna fight like hell to make sure that you get just pay. Thank you and have a good day, guys. Love you.
When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? All right, I want to give a couple of shout outs before our next speaker. With us, we also have Council Member Carlina Rivera representing Manhattan, and Council Member Natasha Williams representing Queens. And next, I just want to remind you that Just Pay is a worker-centered campaign. It is about our workforce. It is about the people on the ground que están bregando, working in communities, making sure that New York's most vulnerable New Yorkers have what they need. And this is about our workers. And next, I want to bring up Howard Diaby, Supervisor, North Bronx Family Service Center. Go for it.
Okay, thank you.
You might have to.
Hello. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Howard Jabi. I am a social work supervisor from North Bronx Family Service Center. I am here today
to represent preventive services. I am also here to speak about the important work that social workers do. I have been a social worker for 4 years. I have seen firsthand the positive impact that social workers have in the lives of the most vulnerable and yet most resilient communities that we serve. As social workers, we educate, guide, motivate. We listen with care, love, and empathy. We help in fostering positive, healthy, resilient, and robust communities who struggle with their day-to-day lives. Whether it has to do with poverty, domestic violence, education, immigration, housing, emotional and physical support. Social workers help with the healing and growth of our communities. We help restore hope and fight for the social justice and social change for our communities. We go beyond and above for the people that we serve. This comes with a great responsibility, a responsibility that we do not take for granted. We work long hours, invest time and energy to promote the well-being and safety of all of our communities. This takes courage. It takes dedication. It takes love. It takes commitment and sacrifice. But we do it with a smile, pride, joy, and optimism. We wake up every single day and show up for those who need us. We do not give up. And yet, in the social work field, many people live from paycheck to paycheck. And yet, some of us have to work more than one job to make sure that we are able to meet our financial responsibilities. We carry on with the responsibility of our profession and our personal lives. Our role comes with many stresses, but money should not be one of them. We deserve to be compensated for our hard work. We should be recognized. We should be given awards for our hard work and dedication. But that is not enough. We deserve to be paid more. We deserve to go into work knowing that we will be okay, that our children will be okay, that our families will be okay financially. This will help in reducing some of the high level of stress and stressors that we face. It will help in retaining workers at our job. It will help in securing a promising future for ourselves and our children. To our elected official, we need to show up. We need you to show up for us today and always. Let's end poverty wages for the human services workforce. We are here for just pay.
Please, this is a good problem to have, but we need folks to move over as much as you can, because you can't hear the speakers, and we want to make sure that you hear and you listen to what our workers are saying. Their stories are important. They are the ones on the ground. They are the ones that we need to make sure get just pay. And the city and the state needs to recognize our workforce as essential. But don't just tell us that we're essential. Show us the money. Show us that we are essential by passing just pay. Show us that we are essential by making sure that there is a COLA for our workforce. Show us by making sure that our workforce doesn't make less than $21 an hour. Show us the money. Give us just pay. Show us the money. Give us just pay. Give us just pay. Show us the money. Give us just pay. Show us the money. Give us just pay. And our next speaker is Yvette Ayala, FTC Facilitator Supervisor for Sheltering Arms.
Wow. Good morning, everyone. Well, my name is Yvette Ayala. I am a social worker. I've been working specifically for preventive services at Sheltering Arms I've been working for Sheltering Arms for over 10 years for preventive services for our families, our most vulnerable children, from being an intern, case planner, and who I am right now today. I'm here to say that I am worthy and just pay. For the past 2 years throughout the pandemic, as a collective of New York City human service industry, we have faced undeniable adversity. Working throughout the 5 boroughs in underserved communities, ensuring our families that they have their own basic needs met and our children safe. But we need our own basic needs met and our own children safe. We have become the most demanding but overlooked and underfunded. Funding us, in us, will continue our work, and it will continue to empower us and strengthen the families, communities we serve. I'm here to say we are all worthy. We are always been essential, and just pay. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvette, for sharing your story. I want to make sure that I recognize that Councilmember Natasha Williams, a council member for Queens, her mom used to work for DC 37 for 37 years. That's a long time of dedication and commitment. Oh, and she was a social worker with ACS. Where are the social workers out here? Where are the women? Where are the women? Where are the women? That's right, we make up most of the workforce for human sector. Where are the women? Some other shout outs. Wayne, where are you? Riceboro, Queens Community House, University Settlement, I see the orange hats. Next, I want to bring up Bernice Match, Mobility Labs Project Coordinator, Chinese American Planning Council.
Hi everyone, my name is Benice, spelled Be Nice, and I work as a project coordinator at the Chinese American Planning Council, also known as CPC. I pursued a career in the nonprofit sector as I understood the power of empathy and compassion during times of hardship. I will admit I entered the sector with a very naive understanding of the field. Ironically, my very first nonprofit dream goal was to create an organization where 100% of donations goes towards programming costs. But as I learned more about the sector, I recognized the flaw in my initial belief and recognized the importance of nonprofits in valuing their employees and paying them competitive rates. I ended up writing my thesis on how the overglorification of low overhead impacts the quality of the services nonprofits provide for their constituents and hinders the progress of their growth they impact on the mission they want to achieve. As CPC is a 93% government-funded agency, the government is essentially the main driver of my coworker and my wages. CPC cannot fill the inequitable wage gap given on government contracts. We make 70% of what we would make if we were to work in government instead. The past 2 years has proven that we could all use a little bit more empathy and compassion, but has also shed light on the dire need for human services. I enjoy community building, but this work is mentally and emotionally draining. It doesn't help that the government pays so little, making it difficult to recruit and retain employees. And in a high cost of living city like NYC, we're being priced out of our own neighborhoods because wages are not keeping up with inflation. We have been providing essential services prior to the start of the pandemic and continue to play an important role in the recovery and response of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is time for the government to start paying us fairly for the work that we do. I often have an internal struggle with not pursuing a career in public service, as society tends to underappreciate the work that we do. There are limited resources available, and funders prioritize programmatic results instead. It's frustrating because I was one of those people too. But I am also hopeful in seeing you all here today in urging the government to value our work, our services, and our dedication towards our community. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to our stories, and I look forward to standing by your side as we ensure an equitable recovery for human services workers through a cost of living adjustment. Thank you.
Show me the money. Show me the money. Let's go, New York City. Show me the money. Fund Just Pay. Just want to share a couple of facts with you all. Did you know that New York City contracts with nonprofits to provide $5.6 billion worth of services? That's right, $5.6 billion. Did you know that in New York City we employ 80,000 workers? 80,000 strong are out here on the ground supporting communities. Did you know that predominantly we are staffed by workers of color? 75% are workers of color. Did you know that 70% are women? Did you know that women of color constitute 55% of this workforce? So guess what? Show me the money and just pay. Show me the money and just pay. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? And now we will hear from another one of our workers who's on the front lines, Lynn Jane, Director of Mental Health for Volunteers of America. Before she comes up, I do want to recognize that former Manhattan Borough President and former council member, and now council member again, Gail Brewer, is here with us.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many faces out here today. My name is Lydian Thomas, and I'm proud to say that I work for Volunteers of America, Greater New York. And I have worked in the homeless shelter system for many years now. In order to do our job as human service workers, some of the characteristics that we need to have are compassion, patience, and thoroughness. We are the ones helping our clients get IDs if they have none. We do crisis interventions. We make sure our clients are not misdiagnosed. And we even check if our clients are taking their medications. The clients turn to us and trust us because we advocate for their lives. While the work is rewarding, it also poses its challenges. And I cannot emphasize how much human service workers run the risk of compassion fatigue and burnout as a result of the quality of service required for the success of each of our clients. There was a client that I recall who was transferred to our shelter. When I looked at his history in the system, I noticed that he had been in the shelter system since the late 1980s. He was an older gentleman in his mid-60s who was nonverbal. He was not able to speak out sentences nor write it out. So my team and I had to do a little bit work a little bit harder and a little bit more creatively due to this barrier. See, we always work from a strength-based perspective, so we worked with the information we had. We learned that he had recently had a stroke, and he also had a hard time understanding others. Regardless, we were able to get him a payee, we were able to establish services for him, and make sure that his medical needs were met. And one of my favorite things that I remember about this client is that he loved remote-controlled cars. Now, can you just imagine a mid-60-year-old man with gray hair smiling so widely playing with his remote-controlled cars? He enjoyed himself, you know? It was the most heartwarming thing. He was not capable of independent care living, but we didn't want him living at the shelter for the rest of his life. So we were able to eventually place him in an appropriate setting. These are the kind of people we serve, and we are proud to do so. However, because workers are underpaid and overworked, this man receives services much later than he should have. What people fail to realize is that when service care workers are underpaid and overworked, our clients are the ones who suffer the most. So please, just pay so we can work to end the cycle of homelessness. I'm passionate about my job and I love serving those in need. My salary doesn't increase annually based on my experience because I'm a human service worker and it is set depending on government funds. I'm tired of others just paying no mind and no compensation to the social services field. So I implore you, on behalf of my colleagues and my fellow human service workers, please just pay. Thank you.
All right. And next, we have a council member who was an assembly member, who has years of experience working in government, who is the chair of the labor committee now with the city council. And we know that she will make sure that she lends her voice and her strength to make sure that just pay becomes a reality in this fiscal budget. Council member Carmen de la Rosa.
So I represent Washington Heights in northern Manhattan, and this good troublemaker right here belongs to us. I am proud to be the council member that gets to represent Northern Manhattan Improvement Corp. And their fierce leader, Maria Lizardo. Can we give it up for Maria? She's my Wonder Woman. And like her, I know that 70% of women of color are the Wonder Women from many of the communities that you all serve. As the chair of labor, I know that our city is only as strong as our workforce. If we want our city to have the solutions to the multiple crises that we are facing right now, what do we need? Just pay. If you pay your workers will continue to deliver. If workers can feed their families, they will continue to feed our communities. And so it is time for the city and the state to step up. If we want solutions to the problems we see every day, the solutions are in your hearts, the solutions are in your work, and the solutions are in just pay. I am proud to support your campaign today, and let me just say, you showed up today so that my colleagues and I could go into City Hall later on and show up and stand up for you. We will continue to do the work to make sure that we're empowering our workforce. A COLA, cost of living adjustment. Because guess what? The cost of living continues to increase and your salaries remain stagnant. And that is an indictment on our city and on our state. Shame on us. Shame on us. And so we will continue to fight to make sure that your families are fed,
that as this pandemic, we continue to recover, we have a just recovery for all workers. Thank you so much.
And guess what? If we don't get just pay, we'll just keep showing up and showing up and showing up until we get just pay. Because guess what? Today, we are out here in force. Today, we are flexing our power, our strength to let the city know that we want just pay, that we are essential. We are essential. And guess what? You need to just pay. So we will be here. We will show up and keep showing up until we get what we deserve as an essential workforce in this city. And next, I want to bring up Councilmember Lincoln Ressler, co-chair of the Progressive Caucus.
When I say just pay, you say now. Just pay. Just pay. When I say just pay, you say now. Just pay. Just pay. Now, my name is Lincoln Ressler. I'm a council member from the other side of the bridge. And I am a former city worker. I am a former settlement house worker at St. Nick's Alliance. I'm a former board member of the Human Services Council. And we need just pay now. My good friend Henry Garrido from DC 37 likes to remind me that there are 35,000 city workers making under $18 an hour. 10% of our city workforce is living near poverty. It ain't right. It ain't right that all of the human service workers who enroll in New Yorkers and benefits need those same benefits themselves just to get by. It ain't right. Now, there's been a whole lot of love for essential workers over these couple of years. People have been going out at night and banging their pots and pans, recognizing the folks who are providing childcare every day through this pandemic, recognizing the people who are operating our homeless shelters and supporting the most vulnerable every day through this pandemic, recognizing the people in our cafeterias and soup kitchens who are serving the people in need every day through this pandemic. It's time to pay them. What do we need? When do we need it? Now, before the governor, who we shall not name, increased the minimum wage to $15 an hour, it's important to remember that the mayor and the city of New York stepped up and that we lifted our own minimum wage for every city worker. We lifted the minimum wage for every contracted worker who works for a human services organization. We did it. We lifted that wage to $15, and now we're gonna lift it to $21. $21 an hour. That is the living wage we need. We need a living wage. Too many New Yorkers are paying a majority of their income in rent. It ain't right. So we're gonna lift that wage to $21 an hour, and we're gonna link that cost of living adjustment to inflation. So each and every year, you can count on that cost of living adjustment so you can get by. We are gonna deliver the living wage you need. You have sent a message to the city council. We together are gonna send a message to this mayor, and we are gonna deliver. What do we need? When do we need it? Thank you all.
Guess what? We don't want pots and pans. We want just pay. We don't want pots and pans. We want just pay. We don't want pots and pans. We want just pay. We don't want pots and pans. We want just pay. And since this is about our workers, and our workers are essential, next we're gonna have Kanya Flowers, caseworker with Little Flower.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, New York City. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Kenya Flowers, and I am a case planner, and I work in the foster care department at Little Flower Children and Family Services. I have held this role for 2 years and 9 months, and this summer makes 3 years. My main role is to ensure the safety of children in their homes and provide the support and services that allow for a smooth transition for children and their families to reunite. Some may ask why working in the human services field as a caseworker is my passion. Each client comes from a different walk of life, and that is special to me. It requires work beyond measures. I am the link between children, their families, and the community. We are like the counselors, consultants, teachers, nurses, protectors, security for our children and families. Today, I am not only speaking for myself, but on behalf of my colleagues and all those in the human services workforce. Our current wages impact our life drastically. We need side jobs and hobbies to support our families, ourselves and our families. Our wages do not complement the hours of work we put in. A change for an increase in our wages and funding would decrease the turnover rate in our jobs and in the human services sector. Stability in workers is important to the children I work with. A bond is needed to establish trust with the clients I serve, and it takes time to do so. Over the past year and a half, COVID has impacted my work. Nobody was prepared for the changes COVID brought forth. As a case planner, mandatory contacts had to take place, no matter the circumstance. Not every family was equipped with devices and the knowledge of using technology. One story that captures how life-changing my work was an incident in which a child was in distress. Due to the work that I do, I help prevent a child from committing suicide. I stayed in the hospital late nights with this child until early morning to ensure the safety of this child. Thank you, everybody. My colleagues and I will continue to experience life-changing moments in our line of work. We were essential workers before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and we will continue being essential workers long after the pandemic is over. Today, we are asking our city elected officials to please recognize our hard work by increasing funding and human services contracts so our workforce could get pay and funding and the salary we deserve. An increase in salary will not only benefit the many human services workers who do important work for the city, but it will also improve the services delivered to the individuals we serve. Thank you to the Human Services Council for putting together this Just Pay rally and giving workers like myself a voice to be heard. Thank you, everybody.
Who's essential? We're essential. Who's essential? Who's essential? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? Mayor Adams, we're here and we're not going away. We're gonna keep showing up and showing up and showing up until we get just pay. I want to give a special shout out to a former Settlement House executive director who is now a council member and will be sitting at the table when it's time to make decisions when it comes to just pay, Council Member Linda Lee from Queens. And next, I would like to bring up another one of our workers, Michael Phillip, Program Supervisor for Sheltering Arms.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to say good morning to the mayor. I hope he's listening. I also want to say good morning to the city council. But most important, I want to say good morning to all of you wonderful people here. My name is Michael Phillip. I'm a program supervisor of Safe Haven 3 out of Sheltering Arms Children and Family Services. Safe Haven 3 is a youth crisis shelter. We provide clothing, food, emotional, and mental health for some of New York's most vulnerable youth. Me and my team work with youth and Me and my team, we work with youth on a 24-hour basis in 3 shifts, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, and 11 to 7. Most of my team, because we have a bunch of staff burnout, we have many staff that have left the field have to do doubles just to provide on around the clock coverage to support our youth. Many of my team members have decided to ask for extra shifts because of the wages that they make. We're making below the poverty line, and just to keep up, we take extra shifts. This is unacceptable. My team is dedicated, hardworking, and love what they do and the youth that they serve. We are asking the mayor to please increase the pay to $21. We are asking We are asking to support our city workers. We are asking to support our frontline workers. We are essential. We are asking, and I stand with every one of you here. I stand with every one of you here. I stand with my staff that we need more pay. Thank you.
It's 21 or bust. That's it. That's what we want. 21 or bust. 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 Show us the money. Show us the money. We are essential. Show us the money. We are essential. Show us the money. We are essential. Show us the money. I can't hear you. Mayor Adams can't hear you. We are essential. Show us the money. We are essential. Show us the money. We are essential. Show us the money. And next, we have Council Member Farrell Lewis. Come on up, Council Member. Co-chair of the Women's Caucus. Where the women at? Where the women? Sorry, changing program. We have Council Member Oswald Feliz, co-chair of the Black, Latino, and Asian Caucus, representing the Boogie Down Bronx.
What a beautiful crowd. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm council member to the 15th district in the Bronx. It's a vulnerable community of color, and I'm also joining today as the proud co-chair of the Black Caucus of the City Council. I want to start by thanking the wonderful organizers of this very important event and this very important rally, a rally for equality, a rally for dignity, a rally for equal pay for our workers. What do we want? 21 or what? 21 or plus. 21 or plus. 21 or plus. I also want to thank all of my colleagues that have joined each and every one of you in this very important fight. No one that works 40 hours should live in poverty. No one that works 40 hours a week should feel the need to get a second job to be able to pay rent or to be able to put food on the table. That is a problem now, and we need solutions now, today, ahora. This is a problem affecting many communities, but specifically affecting women and people of color. And that is a problem. And the solutions are not difficult. The solutions are simple. Raise the wages to 21 or plus. Are the solutions difficult? Are the solutions difficult? The solutions are not difficult. The solutions are simple. Raise the wages to 21 or plus. So I want to thank all of you thank you all for joining us today. And I, as co-chair of the Black Caucus, and all of our colleagues are going to be with each and every single one of you every step of the way until we win this fight. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
21 plus, 21 plus, 21 plus, 21 plus. What do we want? 21 plus. What do we want? 21 plus. What do we want? 21 plus. All right. Let me tell you something. When we started with this rally and the planning, our goal was to reach 1,000. We easily did that. I mean, we were blocking the path. Guess what, Mayor Adams? We are out here, and we will not leave until we get just pay. We will not leave until we get just pay. And this is the first of many actions. Are y'all ready for it? Are you ready to keep showing up? Are you ready to keep at this until we win? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? And now we will have Councilmember Farrah Lewis, co-chair of the Women's Caucus. We're the women! We're the women!
I want you all to say, just pay is the right way. Just pay is the right way. Again. 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 Everybody. I'm Councilmember Farrah Lewis, co-chair of the Women's Caucus, alongside Councilmember Farias. She could not be with us today, but she's here in spirit. And I just wanted to share with all of you, because it's been said over and over and over, so everybody in the city of New York has heard it. Just pay is the right way. Just pay is not a radical idea or theory. Just pay is the right way for a sector that has been disproportionately impacted historically for years. Where are my essential workers? Where are my essential workers? It is you that decided to show up during a pandemic to save our city, to save our people. And we have to do right by you. 800,000 New Yorkers are employed as human service workers. And you are here. And we are your benefactors in the city of New York and in the state. And we have to do right by you. You showed up for us. We need to show up for you. It is our moral duty to do so. So as the Women's Caucus, we stand in solidarity with you. All of my colleagues who are here, some left to go back inside, we stand in solidarity with you, and we will do our due diligence. As I leave now, I just want to share 70% of human service workers are women, 55% women of color. We are in the midst of Women's History Month. We have to show you some respect. I love you too, that's why I'm here. Just pay ends the exploitation of human service workers in the state of New York. And it is time you get your due right. It is time we stop disrespecting you. So we are here to stand in solidarity with you. The Women's Caucus is with you. The City Council is with you. And I want to thank the Human Services Council for organizing this. So give them a round of applause. This is not easy to do. Thank you for showing up and showing out. God bless.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? I don't think Mayor Adams can hear you. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Let me tell you something. My heart is bursting with joy and love today, seeing all of you out here showing up, showing out, lifting your voices, using your strength to let the city know that we are essential. But guess what? Those are just words. The city needs to show us the money. Show us the money. Show us the money. Show us the money. Then, like I said earlier, this is the first of many actions. And now before we're going to start closing, there's a few things I need for you to do. Lift up your signs. I want to see who's here. Lift those signs up. Lift those signs up. Lift them up. I want to hear the names of your organizations. Shout them out. Shout them out. Let's go. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I want to hear you. Let Brooklyn hear you. Brooklyn needs to hear you. Let the Bronx hear you. Let Staten Island hear you. Let Queens hear you. And Manhattan certainly hears you. Mayor Adams, we are here. We will keep showing up until we get just pay. I also want to recognize two more council members. Councilmember Tiffany Caban, who's here with us today. Councilmember Kristen Hudson could not be here with us today, but she supports Just Pay. And lastly, here's your call to action, because this is not ending today, mi gente. We will continue, mi gente, until we get Just Pay. We will continue. I need for you to take a picture with your group. Take a picture with your colleagues, and you make sure you use social media. Everything, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, use it all. WhatsApp, let's go. We gotta share with the world that we were here today, and use the hashtag JustPay.